Hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced in recent months as the M23 armed group advanced towards the city of Goma in Democratic Republic of Congo. To the north, Ugandan soldiers arrived just over a year ago under an agreement with Congo's government. Uganda's army says it's pursuing a Ugandan armed group called the ADF that's responsible for massacring thousands of civilians. Rights groups say the violence has increased since the Ugandan troops arrived. Both Uganda and Rwanda have been accused of meddling and looting minerals ever since they first invaded Congo in the 1990s.
It's not everyone who has interest in a more stable DRC. There is some non-state actors and perhaps even some state actors who need this to be going on so that they may continue with their traffics.
6 months ago, East African leaders agreed to send a regional stabilization force. Kenyan soldiers are the latest to arrive under that banner. Uganda, Burundi and South Sudan have said they'll also contribute troops.
The risk is there that the different countries that are intervening will pursue their own narrow interests. And many of these countries have in the past, particularly the neighboring countries of Burundi, Rwanda and Uganda, have supported proxy armed groups against each other, but also against the Congolese state.
More than 20 years after their mission began, the popularity of UN peacekeepers is at an all-time low. Many Congolese blame them for failing to protect civilians. Demonstrators have burned some UN convoys and camps in recent months. Many people say they're tired of foreign forces.
Since the beginning, the solution for DRC is to have a state which is responsible, a state that can defend its territory, and a state which can also defend and protect human rights of their own citizens. So militarization is not the solution. For the last 20 or 30 years in DRC, we have these foreign intervention, and they didn't give the solution. And we can't say that this regional initiative, which is a military initiative, will bear fruit.
The M23 armed group is widely understood to be backed by neighbouring Rwanda. Its fighters have been photographed alongside Rwandan soldiers. UN peacekeepers have filmed hundreds of fighters crossing the border. Rwanda denies backing the group. Almost nobody in Congo believes it. In cities across Congo, people have protested against Rwanda and Uganda, who they blame for decades of military aggression. They've called for Western powers to cut off military aid to Rwanda. The US, and more recently France and Germany, have criticised Rwanda for its support, but none of Rwanda's backers have applied sanctions. Last week, voter registration began for elections that are due to be held a year from now. Leaked documents showed the last election 4 years ago was rigged. President Felix Tshisekedi was announced the winner. He wants to run again. Many people are wondering if next year's election will be free and fair, or if it will even happen on time.
When you look at the documents of the National Electoral Commission, it's already in there as a factor that might delay elections themselves. So they're preparing that argument. Of course, no credible election can take place if there's so much violence that voting can't take place.
The violence shows no sign of stopping. M23 said it pulled out of the town of Kibumba last week following international calls for its fighters to withdraw and disarm. It has since continued fighting on another front, pushing towards coltan mines that it controlled in the past. More than 500,000 people remain displaced from their homes, mostly because of armed conflict. Recent peace talks in Nairobi have failed to bring any change on the ground. For now, people must wait to see if the arrival of more foreign forces in the months ahead and the upcoming election will make things better or worse. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera.